Okay, so I am back for another Christine Holds Your Hand. This time we're doing Matthias. Matthias is the last boss of the second wing. The first thing you need to notice is that the entire arena is circular. And we have 4 markers placed down. These markers indicate fountains. As you can see now, before the fight starts, the water in the fountain looks pretty clear. It's like a light blue color, and that means it's clean. You're gonna need this. You're gonna need to know this later for one of the major mechanics in the fight. So let's start. So the first thing you'll notice after you start the fight is that Matthias will create a dome-looking thing like this. Now, if you can see, Koishi over here is doing zeros because if you don't reflect the projectiles he hits out towards a randomly picked character in the beginning of the fight, you can't do damage to him. And he has like buffs over here that you have to deplete so that he can actually become vulnerable. And this is where you have Mesmers or Chronos, Mesmers or Mirages or whatever, bringing feedback or reflect. And so they'll pick a random character to basically target at throughout the entire fight. Koishi is messing around with his inventory, but if you saw back there just a few seconds ago, oops, sorry. During this, someone will get a orange ring around them. Here, look. That's me. I have an orange ring around myself. This is one of the first major mechanics that you will need to know, and that's poison. There's a little green icon above my head, and that's poison. And that means I have to go to a clean fountain, which is light blue, and I need to drop it off. And see, the color changes immediately to red once I cleanse it off, and then I come back to the group. You can just keep on doing DPS during this time. And now this is the second thing. It says Evil Bulls is about to be sacrificed, and this occurs in the first half of the entire fight of his HP, I guess. And this is where you have to CC a character, and you get a limited amount of seconds or time to CC them, and if you don't CC them within the time, they will automatically die. So let's look at that. So they get picked and they get thrown into the middle. So this is really important. So you want to kind of huddle around the center so you get to CC them easily without losing DPS. And also, when the bombs come into play later, you want to make sure not to throw them into the middle, or you won't be able to CC them and then they'll die and you'll lose the DPS or support or whichever character because it's random who he picks. So they CC him, CC her, and she's out of it. Don't worry about that, it just stays there until thing. And if you just notice that he does a spinny thing with his staff, that thing. After he does it for around a second or two, he will shoot a swirling thing that will down you if you have like not full HP, because it does do a lot of damage. We usually call it Hadoken. It's a pretty easy tell to notice, so just be sure to stay out of the way when that happens or dodge it. If you're in the way, for example, if you're dropping off poison or whatever. Also, make note there are like chill fields over there. I believe they can be gotten rid of if you put down a fire field, but I mean it's not on us, so don't worry about it. Just DPS the boss. That's another poison. Now he needs to go to a fountain. Dome again, has to reflect. And after they reflect, see, now he's vulnerable again. Now this is the second phase where fire tornadoes start appearing, and you can't CC them or do anything to them, so whichever trajectory they go into, you have to avoid it unless you want to end up in the whirlpool and possibly get whirled into something really dangerous. For example, if someone drops a bomb, which we'll see later. We don't really see it right now, but when we do see it later, it's pretty dangerous getting hit by one of those tornadoes. Look, Hadoken again. He just whacks. Okay, so contrary to the small little like dark green circle and like the bright orange AoE under you, the bomb will show a skull above your head. Now the skull means that you have a bomb, and this bomb can be detonated with a utility skill that will appear over here. I'm not sure if Koichi gets it during this fight, but just of note, if you do get the bomb mechanic, you have to drop it over by the wall. Try not to drop it near a fountain because people over there are already pretty vulnerable with their poison. And if they have to go over an extra field that will damage them, it's really likely that they can die if they can't support themselves or if they're a DPS or they're just really squishy. So let's watch that person. Okay, also tornado going here. Have to be careful. They just dropped it over here, which I guess is okay. It's not like super optimal, but you know, if you know that people aren't gonna like get wrecked, or you trust them that they're not going to get thrown into there or whatever, or I don't know, stuff happens, then you can leave it there and it's fine. And that way you don't have to sacrifice so much DPS by running off for so long. So continuing the fight. Okay, now this is the second kind of attack that he does, which is not the Hadoken, or it's not the wacky thing with his stick, where he jumps up to the air and then he's going to launch projectiles on your feet. If you do have a druid, sometimes they can use their staff 5 to block it, but otherwise you will get hit by it. If you don't want to get hit by it, you have to dodge it. I don't know if you can jump over it. I feel like you maybe. I haven't tried before, or I don't remember. But if you do get hit by it and you survive it, you do get more DPS. So sometimes if you want to max out your DPS and you know you can tank it, you can always purposely try and tank the crystals, but otherwise I advise you not to. There, the crystals appear in a circle around him, and this will happen in the latter half of the entire fight as well. So this is a sacrificing mechanic again. Gets thrown into here. Have to CC. Now poison again. It's this big circle compared to the little skull. This is another one of the bombs. See, there's, oops. Has to go to a clean fountain compared to the really bright one and the really dark one, which means you can't put the poison down because it's not clean yet. And it will slowly throughout the fight become clean again. You just have to make sure you know which one is clean. There is always one that will be clean. I just guess you just have to keep track of it. It really isn't. There really isn't another way. Oh, people are getting hit by the tornado, and see, that's really dangerous. If you get hit by the tornado, you can fall into one of these, and you get damaged like that, and you're down, which is very dangerous. Oh, look. Bomb. That's a bomb. Oh, oh, oh. See, what you want to do here is you want to drop it off to the side and detonate it as soon as possible, because sometimes it can damage you and you're not sure how much HP you have left to sustain, I don't know, living. So you want to drop it as soon as you can on any wall that you see, because if you do down, it will automatically trigger the bomb and you'll end up in a pool of it like this. And then more often than not, you will die unless someone has a search and rescue or they power res you or something like that. And so, see now Trias, Yillit he wanted to clean himself at the fountain, but now he can't because there's 2 bombs in the way and it's way too risky to pass both of these bombs to go to a fountain, so he's going to the other one. And I just search and rescued her onto this one, onto the fountain where there is no bomb, and I rezzed her. And now we have to CC Asthenia. People are down again. Oh, rip. Oh yeah, there's also a storm cloud during this phase after the tornadoes in the beginning because, no, there is no because. There's just a storm cloud there, and it will circle the center area, the inner ring, I guess, of the arena, and it will do a lot of damage to you. And there is a kind of, because there is this this environmental effect called downpour. It's this icon over here. The more you move, the more stacks it will accumulate, so try not to move. And if you accumulate a certain number of downpour things because you're moving too much, it will give you like a purple marker above your head, and if you keep on moving on top of that, it will knock you down, and it will prevent you from moving or doing any attacks or anything for a period of time. So you really want to be careful. This is especially dangerous because there is a storm cloud and sometimes there are people dropping bombs or whatever. And if you can't move, then it's highly possible that you will suffer a lot of damage, and then that's a loss of DPS, and you might go down and you might die. So please just be careful. Ninja now has the poison. He's trying to find out where to go. It's over here. Okay, I don't think I mentioned this before, but now here's the split mechanic where a lot of people get orange rings around themselves that will slowly expand with an inner red ring. This is kind of like Keep Construct, if you've done that before, where you have to spread out, and whoever ends up inside your little AoE by the time that the red matches the orange will get hit by a lot of damage and sometimes down them. So just be careful. Also, downpour will slowly tick down if you're not moving. Now here's the dome again and CC again. CC. Spreading out mechanic. Oh, she went down. Oh, he went down. Yeah, Stormcloud does a lot of damage. That attack again, and now at 40%, he goes into this weird raging phase where he becomes this giant ass monster. The first thing he will do is shoot out a lot of projectiles, and it will hurt you a lot. Oh, never mind. Yeah. I don't know what he did there. Okay, so he will do a big projectile attack. So try not to stand directly on top of him or you're gonna get hit by it all and most likely down. That's a Hadoken. He still continues to do that. Oh, yeah, that was the projectile. It's kind of like relinquishing the projectiles from him. He smacks as usual. There is no CC phase during this, but poison continues. Just attack. Okay, and there's these things over here that look like little ghosts. We call them spooky boys. Running across the arena continuously. They do not stop. And you can't do anything to them. You just have to dodge them because if you do step inside their orange AoE, you will most likely get downed unless they're super tanky. Just please be careful and be wary of them. Split phase. Ooh. And the tornadoes are still here. Here's a reflect mechanic again. Someone has a bomb. Drop it. Come back. Oh, tornadoes. Kind of hard to see. It's a bit hectic during this phase, but you just have to keep on paying attention, focusing. Oh, I'm down. He's down with a poison, so here it's very it's hard to manage because the poison will do damage to you if you're in it, and if you're trying to res him and you don't have enough HP to do it, then you should not do it, or else you'll die, and then both of them will end up dying because they're trying to res you. Trying to res one person or trying to res another person and the other one dies. So just please be wary of that. If you know you can't res them or you don't have enough HP, don't do it. It's not worth it. That was Hadoken again. Now spreading out. Ghosty boy. Spoopy boy. Another more poison. Oh, look, see, ouch. She has a chrono, it didn't do that much damage to her. Spreading out. Reflecting again. Yep, the blue thing went down. More poison, Hadoken. Spread out. Ghosty boy, careful. Yep, that's the particle thing, a projectile thing. More tornado. This is basically the rest of the fight. And that's all it is during the end. Just have to keep on DPSing and dodging the environmental effects. And then, yeah, that's it. Thanks. Hope you learned something.